If your aura nails look like this instead of this, it's probably because you're using these. Some people just could not accept my ombre and aura nail tutorial because they couldn't get past the fact that I said makeup wedges are different than these tiny little square sponges. But I am genuinely trying to help you guys out, so I want to show you guys that these are actually different, and that does not mean these ones don't work at all, but I'm going to show you why these ones are probably giving you a little bit more of a harder time. But guess what? You can still use these. No one's stopping you. A lot of people were also mad that I said to throw these away in the beginning of my video. Obviously, I didn't mean that literally because I still have mine. That is a video hook. That's why I have almost 800,000 followers, because I know how to get people to watch my videos. Enough yapping. Let's get into the differences in the sponges. And then I'm going to do an aura nail with the makeup wedge and an aura nail with the tiny sponges. There's really only two main differences in these sponges. First is the density. The square sponges are almost completely smooth because they're so much more dense and compacted, which means when you dab it onto the nail, the sponge isn't really gonna squish, so it's just gonna kind of awkwardly tap the very top of your nail. When I use makeup wedges, I like to cut them in half, so this is what you're gonna be seeing me use, but these ones are slightly more squishy, so whenever you're dabbing onto your nail, the sponge can actually squish and hug the nail. That way it's actually hitting those rounded parts and not just awkwardly hitting the very top like the little ones. The second key difference is the size. So many people were saying, aren't those the same thing but different sizes? As if the size doesn't make a huge difference. Since these sponges are so small, you're either gonna get the tiniest aura effect, or you're gonna have to move around the sponge to get a bigger aura effect, which is going to make it look splotchy. With the makeup wedges, this is literally almost the size as my nail. So I can just dab right in the middle. You might have to touch up the sides a tiny bit, but it's gonna give you so much more of an even coverage aura effect than if you were going like this all over your nail. I really don't know why people were having such a hard time understanding that. Now I'm gonna be doing the two nails. Sorry I'm so shaky, I just drank a Red Bull. But for the first nail, I'm gonna use the little sponges, and I'm going to use a pat gel because some of you guys were saying that's why these sponges don't work for me. I'm just gonna dab off some of the excess, and now I'm gonna start dabbing on the nail. You can already see how much I'm having to move around my sponge to try and get a bigger aura effect. I promise I'm not trying to make this look bad on purpose. This is just a realistic attempt at using these little sponges. This aura is actually looking a lot bigger than I wanted to because I've been trying to blend it out near the sides. This is probably the best it's gonna get. So I went ahead and cured it. I'm only doing one layer like everyone was saying to do, and now I'm just top coating. Now I'm gonna move on to the makeup wedge nail. I always start by cutting off the tip so that there's no dust. The reason I prefer regular polish over pat gels is because let's just say I did a French tip with this color in a nail set and I want to do an ombre nail in the same color. I can literally just use the exact same gel instead of having to find a similar color or mixing my pat gels to try and get something closer. Somebody said that the amount of layers you have to do with regular gel makes it too time consuming, but in my opinion, the amount of time that you spend playing around trying to get a smooth aura effect with the little sponges, plus the amount of time it takes if you're wanting to mix your pat gels to get a specific color, you end up taking the same amount of time, if not more time. So once again, I'm going to dab off some of the excess, and since the surface area of this sponge is around the same size as the nail, you really just have to dab in the middle of the nail instead of having to dab around this whole area. Now I'm going to flash cure and go in with my second layer. Flash cure, sometimes I add a little bit more gel. Dab, 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 dab. Since we're only dabbing in one place, we're really going to get that nice airbrushed look where it's faded out around the edges, but I would rather have to do more layers so that I can get an exact color match. It's just worth it to me. When you're done with all your layers, you can full cure, and here is the nail all finished. With all the layers, you would think it takes a long time, but in my tutorial, I show that it took me 1 minute to do 4 layers, and here are the nails side by side with a lot more work. This one probably could have looked a little bit better, but I wanted to do what everyone was saying. But in my opinion, this method is a lot easier and a lot more reliable. So I really do hope this helped. If you want to use the little sponges, by all means, please keep using them. But this is for my girls who want a clean aura effect every time and want to be able to use their gel polishes they already have. But yeah, just please don't say the two sponges are the same, because they're obviously not.